muy bonito. ¿Sí?
Sí, bonito.
It's time for us to take Helga, our 1989 motorhome, across to Spain, where we'll spend the next 3 months doing a winter road trip. Join us as we escape the crowd, searching for the wildest places and hidden gems. Seeing as the border with France was still closed, we decided to take the ferry to Spain. It cost us a whopping £570 for the 34-hour sailing.
Okay, this is a rather large room for the night. I think it cost £70 for 2 nights. So, not too shabby.
Our cabin didn't have any real windows, but it had this picture of a view which we found very funny. The sea on this route can be really rough, so we were very lucky with these calm conditions, and we even saw dolphins. There was a breakfast buffet included in the price, which we made the most of, and a 3-course dinner too. After 2 nights on the ferry, we arrived in Santander on the north coast of Spain just as the sun was rising. We pulled up at a Carrefour to have some breakfast and do a big food shop before heading to this gorgeous village with a huge mountain backdrop. There was a lovely calm sea inlet, so we decided to have an icy cold swim. We couldn't wait to get to the mountains though, so we left the beach and headed to Picos de Europa National Park. After a freezing cold night, we did the final drive to Fuente, where we caught a gondola up to the mountain, and it rose 700 metres in just 4 minutes. We couldn't quite believe that we were in Spain, because this is not the Spain that you see on holiday brochures. It was so beautiful. We were on this sort of plateau surrounded by mountain peaks. Although we did feel a little ill prepared, as all of the locals had crampons and ice axes with them. We still managed to do a lovely hike though, and we even saw a wild chamois. There were lots of huge vultures flying around in the thermals too. We couldn't believe what an amazing first day it was in the mountains of Spain. Once we got the gondola back down, we enjoyed dinner in Helga surrounded by this insane mountain view. Overnight, the temperature dropped to -5 degrees inside our camper van. We were up super early so we could drive to a medieval village which was backed by these dramatic mountains. We set off on a lovely loop hike which led us through different villages, and we met so many friendly dogs. After that lovely day, we hit the road again, getting these insane mountain views on the drive, and we headed towards a different area of Picos de Europa. The first hike we did in this area was up to the remote village of Bulnes. And the next hike we did was a popular one to Gorge. This canyon is 10 kilometers long and up to 1 kilometer deep, and to walk all the way to the end and back was going to be about a 24-kilometer hike for us. The trail was 1 to 2 meters wide with a sheer drop down to the bottom of the canyon without any handrails or anything to hold onto. So it's probably best to avoid this trek if you suffer from vertigo. There were some interesting arches we had to walk through which had been blasted through the rock. As we exited the canyon, we arrived at this picture-perfect village surrounded by these huge, jagged peaks. The scenery almost didn't look real. There was smoke coming out of the chimneys, so it gave it this really mystical look. Not only did we have dramatic canyon and mountain views, but the river at the bottom was the most incredible blue colour. Wow, still as a statue. After a few days enjoying the mountains, we headed to the countryside. The Asturias region is famous for its blue cheese and cider, so we headed to a farm to do a tasting session. We only speak basic Spanish, so we had no idea what the guy was telling us. But it was a pretty funny experience, and we got to hold the cutest baby sheep and goats.
I think it's saying drink it quickly.
And then we ended up spending our life savings on this kilo block of cheese, which cost €25. And I'll be honest, I wasn't even a big fan of it. I much prefer Stilton. The next day we woke to the most incredible view of these limestone peaks outside our camper van window. After that lovely start to our morning, we made our way to this 19th century basilica. There was also this tiny chapel nestled inside a cave, which apparently Mary was seen at once. Then we opted to take a crazy road where we're about to climb 1,000 metres up to Covadonga Lakes. It was incredibly steep and poor Helga was struggling a bit, but she did make it all the way up, even through the icy patches. It was worth the effort of getting to, as the scenery was absolutely beautiful when we got up there. We did a lovely loop hike where we got some incredible views of the lakes and mountains. We were treated to some beautiful weather with clouds drifting in and perfect reflections in the lake, although some sections were completely frozen. We've been lucky to have nothing but blue skies since we arrived in Spain, in an area which is typically rainy. But the clear skies just mean it's below zero every single night, so we've woken up to frozen windows on the inside and outside. One morning we set off on an early stroll along this beautiful river valley. It was such a peaceful place, with the morning sun hitting the water and fog drifting above it. And that afternoon we found an idyllic spot to park up.
This is the lovely mountain on one side, and then we have this gorgeous river.
And nearby was this picture-perfect beach town with a mountain backdrop. It's also home to these fabulous mansions known as Casas de Indianos. After our morning spent there, we headed to the mountains again. We found this idyllic park up, which had a view of the mountains and the sea, and the next morning we headed up the hill to get a view of sunrise. Not only did we get a beautiful sunrise, but we were also treated to this incredible cloud inversion.
It's so scary. Oh my god, they're mental.
We continued the hike to the top of the mountain, and then we headed back to Helga for some dinner. It's Craig's birthday today, so we decided to go for another hike up this mountain as we loved it so much. And we went slightly earlier this time to get more golden colours, and it was the most perfect morning with another beautiful cloud inversion. We even decided to take breakfast up there, so we had cereal and coffee with a view.
It's Craig's cocktail bar.
Oh, I like it. Clean it, fucking hell, fucking help yourself.
Lovely little view out here for Craig's birthday.
Now it's time for us to head inland a bit to a different mountain region known as Babia.
Icy roads.
It was definitely wild and remote, and we hardly met a soul up here. And this area is actually known for being home to brown bears, so we were on the search for them, but pretty sure they were hibernating at this time of year. But we did see tracks and scat from wolf and lynx, which is pretty damn cool. The route was pretty sketchy though, especially this section where we had to walk through these old footprints in the snow with a sheer drop to our side.
It was -6 degrees last night. This part is frozen, but it is all defrosting as we have the cooker on.
Yay, pancakes!
So Craig's making some pancakes and hopefully we'll warm up a bit then.
After a very cold night, we woke up to more blue skies, so we had to do another hike to get this mountain view. We found the most perfect spot to park up for the next night.
Craig is making us some lunch.
No.
He's starting it while I do the
Thank you.
finishing of an egg mayo sandwich, and this is our beautiful view. Craig's making some falafel wraps for dinner from scratch after spilling half of it on the floor. And this is our magic view. Just see it. Okay, it's about -5 degrees after we've done some cooking and turned the heater on, but we woke up to -10 today and it is just a complete sheet of ice everywhere.
We spoke to a local and he said it was actually -14 degrees overnight, so it was our coldest night yet in the camper van. And even the tips of my hair began to freeze, which hasn't happened since I was in the Norwegian Arctic. We left Helga in the sun while we did the hike, but when we got back we discovered that her pipes had frozen and burst. As much as we wanted to stay in the mountains for longer, we just couldn't do it because our van was not equipped for these temperatures.
Here comes the snow section.
Oh wow.
So we said goodbye to these epic views and made our way down to a lower elevation where we met these adorable little ponies who kept trying to steal Craig's food. We enjoyed one last sunset in the mountains before making our way to Galicia to explore the coastline, which you can see in our next video. We enjoyed one more lovely sunset before making our way to Galicia to explore the coastline, which you can see in our next video.